Made a 50 slide PowerPoint deck in about half an hour using Claude Code. And this is something that would have taken me hours before. But I decided I didn't want to. At first, I was dropping my PowerPoint deck into Claude Code and saying, hey, I want you to redo my PowerPoint deck. And then I ended up doing it as a website, which is what you see here. It did a presentation that to me is better than a PowerPoint deck. But just to show you how I did it, over here, I've got these folders that Claude Code can see, and it can edit anything in these folders. So I originally dropped some PDF files into that folder. And then I said, would this be just easier if we just did this as HTML? And this is my Claude chat over here. And Claude said, yeah, that'd be easier if we just did it as HTML and published it to your server. So that's what we did. And it created this presentation, 50 slides. It basically started with my old PowerPoint deck, and it pulled all the information, all the images off of there. And I said, look, some of this stuff's out of date. Can you update it? So it went and it found it online, and it updated with new numbers, new figures. But it did this whole PowerPoint deck for me. And given a little more time, I probably would make it look a little different. I don't know if I'd go with the dark theme, but it's all the same information. It just built it for me very quickly. I had a few changes I wanted to make. Things like I would say, well, the text in the bullet points here is a little too small, and I would say, okay, do you want me to apply that to every slide? And I would say yes. And so it would format that every slide. So we came up with a format for every slide that I liked, and it just propagated that through every slide. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to add an AI section. So it wrote this for me, and I tweaked it. I told it what I wanted to say. By the way, when I do this, I'm not typing. I'm kind of like Scotty in there's a Star Trek movie where they go back in time to Earth, back basically in the 1980s or 1990s. And Scotty is trying to talk to the computer. So he says, computer. And then the guy hands him the mouse and says, here, use this. And he goes, oh, and he goes, computer. And then eventually he has to use the keyboard, and he says, keyboard, how quaint. Well, I do the same thing. I hate typing. I've been typing. I'm like a cook who goes home and eats ramen, like a chef who goes home and eats ramen, because I can't stand typing. And I type all day. I'm a writer. I'm always typing all day. I can't stand it. So I linked into Claude Code on my phone, and I just talked to it. And then it does what I need it to do. And I could be walking around the house and doing things and checking in with it. But I told it, basically, I was like, hey, this is what I want you to do. I want you to build this AI section. So it built this section, and I said, no, I want you to rewrite this way, or rewrite that way. And it said, okay. So it built this section, but I asked it to write a bad resume, and it did this. And then I said, now let's do an achievement dump of everything that this guy has done in his life. And then we'll add a job description, a real job description from online. And then during the presentation, I said, I want you to rewrite his resume, given his achievement dump and given his job description that he wants to apply to. And I want you to post that to the website during the talk. So it did. And I'm in here talking to the students, and I'm saying, hey, rewrite the resume with a more robust volunteer section and put it on the website in the right place. And then it does it. And right now it's doing it. It's down here. Well, you can't see it because my picture is over it, but it's down here saying calculating, pondering, flibberty gibberting. And then it goes back in here a minute or two later, and it, if I refresh the page, it has done that. So it's absolutely fantastic. And, just a super quick way to create a PowerPoint presentation. And that makes it so that I will never use PowerPoint again. I will now just use Claude Code for my presentations. It's just the cleanest way. It basically recreated PowerPoint for me on a web portal that I could just use while I was And I can send a link. If somebody wants to see this presentation, I can say, they say, let me see your deck. I just send them a link. They don't have to download anything. They don't have to mess with files. It's just stored on my server.